Hi, everybody. My name is Lisa, and I'm one of the teachers here at Verbling.com, and I want to welcome you to this hour's class. We're going to be having a reading and discussion class, and I put the link to the stuff that we're going to read. It's not quite an article. It's a bunch of different quotes, actually, from various business leaders on how to stand out in the crowd, so how to get people to notice you and your skills. So if you have a reservation for this class, then of course you can go ahead and use the reservation now. You can use your reservation in the first 2 minutes of the class. And if you don't use your reservation, that's okay. Just goes away, and then the join class button becomes available to everybody. So anybody who is a Verbling.com member can join a class. You can either be a member, you can buy 10 classes at a time, or you can try the free trial membership. So there's a couple different ways that you can get started here on Verbling. Of course, you can watch all of the classes for free, but if you do want to participate and actually practice reading, practice speaking using your English, then joining the classes is the best way to do that, of course. So I'm going to be explaining a little bit more as I wait for people to join. Sometimes if there's a class going on ahead and some people are there, it takes a couple minutes for them to switch in. And so usually in about the first 3, 4, 5 minutes of a class period, we just talk and say hi to people who are coming in, welcome everybody, and give people a chance to join the class before we start actually doing the lesson. So hi, Domingo, how are you?
Hi, night in Spain.
Sorry, say it again. Are you in Spain?
Yes, I am in Spain.
Wow, it's late.
Yes, it's 1 o'clock.
Yes, wow, you're up late. Okay. Domingo, what part of Spain do you live in?
In Madrid.
Oh, Madrid. Okay, wonderful.
Madrid.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I was in Madrid in May, and I had a very nice time. It was great.
Oh, Madrid.
Uh-huh. I do know. It sounds like there's a little bit of a delay for the connection here.
Doing very bad, I'm afraid.
Madrid doing very bad?
No, my internet connection.
Oh, yes. Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not a speed. No.
I see. Okay. Okay. Let me say hi to some other students who just showed up. Hi, Luis. Hi, Luis. How are you?
Hi, Lisa. I'm fine. I'm fine, and you?
I'm good. Did you have a good week?
Yes. Thanks God, yes.
Ready for the weekend? Yes.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Awesome. And welcome, João. How are you?
Hi, Lisa. I'm fine, and you?
I'm doing well. Did you have a nice week?
Yes, I have a nice week, and I will have a nice weekend now.
Okay, great. Are you going to be voting in the elections?
Yes, I will vote.
Sunday, yeah.
Yeah.
I understand in Brazil you have to vote. Everybody has to vote.
Yes, it's in the law.
When you're going to vote, do you go to a place to vote, or how does everybody vote?
I go to a school.
A school, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see what happens on Sunday. And Andre, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Andre, where are you? Where are you calling from?
In Russia?
That's what I thought. Isn't it pretty late in Russia?
Yes. But it's okay.
It's okay. Tomorrow's Saturday. Okay.
Yes.
Great. Well, welcome to class, everybody. So what I have planned for us in this hour is we're going to be looking at this article that I put up. It's not really an article. It's kind of it's from this magazine here called Success, and the website is success.com. And so it has a lot of different types of articles related to success, and especially entrepreneurs, business success, employees, technology, things like this. So every now and then I come to this website to see what they have that might be of interest to students. And so today I found this one. It's called Top of Mind on Selling Yourself. And it's leaders' tips on how to best stand out and impress whoever's across the table. So what it is actually is they just compiled, or they gathered some quotes from some different leaders, different people, business owners and entrepreneurs and things. And we're going to read each paragraph, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit to see, do you agree with this? Have you ever had this kind of experience? That kind of thing. So we're going to take turns reading. I will explain the vocabulary as well if we have some words there that people don't know, and then we'll talk about it. So let's just start. I read out loud first, one paragraph at a time, and the reason why I'm reading out loud is just so that you guys can hear how I'm pronouncing the words. Some of the words might be new for you, and sometimes, unfortunately, in English, it's not easy to pronounce a word that you've never seen before. Sometimes they can have tricky pronunciations, even though you might be familiar with the spelling or something, the rules aren't always the same in English. So it's nice to be able to listen and also see, so that you know what the word, how it's spelled, and what it's supposed to sound like. So, hi Renee, how are you?
Hi. Hi, fine. Thanks.
All right. Renee, where are you calling from?
Mexico City.
Mexico City, okay, welcome. Awesome. All right, so we're just getting started. So I will read this first one, and then we'll start taking turns reading. Confidence is, let me just explain the title. Make sure everybody understands the title. So these are tips. Tips are kind of like advice that people give you. They give you a tip, something that might help you understand something better or do something in a good way. So these tips are for how to stand out. So to stand out means like you're in a crowd, or maybe you're in a company or something like that, and you want people to see you, to notice you, and so you want to stand out. If you don't stand out, then maybe nobody ever sees you or notices you. They don't really think about you that much because they haven't really been aware that you are there. But if you stand out in a crowd, or in a company, or in a school, in a class, something like that, then people see you. And this is important for some people, especially in business, for example. And impress. So to impress somebody, it's a little bit more than just standing out, but you're impressing somebody when they think that you're doing something really well. So for example, let's say you're a student in a biology class. If you do really well on your labs, and you ask really good questions, and you do really well on your test or something, you might impress your professor, or people you're working with. So that's the kind of idea. Whoever's across the table, so whoever you're talking to, you'll be able to stand out and impress them. All right, so these are their tips. Confidence is everything when it comes to selling yourself. Knowing who you are and how you can add value is invaluable in any workplace, and it doesn't mean you are everything or know everything. Confidently admitting you don't have the answer while outlining a plan to obtain it demonstrates a true level of belief in yourself and your abilities. Seize the opportunity to showcase your problem-solving skills. And finally, score again on following up. So the person who said that is this Mally Steves Chicola, who is the founder and creator of M. Steves. If you wanted to click on that, you would be able to see the website there. Okay, so why don't we start with Renee, ladies first. Oh, we have Johanny. Hi there. Is it Johanny
Hello,
or
teacher.
Johanny? Hi.
Johanny.
Johanny, where are you calling from? We have two ladies in the class now, besides myself.
I'm from Venezuela, but I live in Colombia.
Oh, okay. So you're living in Colombia, but you're originally from Venezuela. All right. Well,
Yes.
welcome to
Yes.
class. Okay, so
Thank you.
I just want to make sure, I'll put it up in the Verbling chat again. Just make sure, if you want, you can open the link to the document, or you can just read it on the screen here, whatever works for you. So, Renee, why don't you go ahead and read that paragraph that I just read.
Okay. Confidence is everything when it comes to selling yourself. Knowing who you are and how you can add value is invaluable. Invaluable?
Invaluable?
Invaluable in any workplace. And it doesn't mean you are everything or know everything. Confidently admiring you don't have to answer, while outlining a plan to obtain it demonstrates a true level of belief in yourself and your abilities. I don't know how to say that word, size?
Seize.
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 Seize the opportunity to showcase your problem-solving skills. And finally, score again and following up.
Good. All right, so I'll go over some words here. And at any time, if anybody has a question, you want me to explain something or say it again, you weren't sure how to say it, just let me know. That's fine. All right, so confidence, having confidence in yourself, believing in yourself. When you're confident, you believe that you can do whatever it is you want to do. If you're not confident, you're scared, you might be shy, you might not be very certain about your skills, things like that. All right, so selling yourself. Nowadays, when we talk about business, we talk a lot about selling yourself. You want people to notice you, so to know that you're the person who can get things done and that you'll be doing a good job, like in your job or in your workplace or that type of thing. So he's saying knowing who you are and how you can add value. So in a business, employees can add value by doing something that's good for the business. So that's why if you're a good worker and you're doing good things for the company, you become invaluable. So something that is invaluable is something that's very important. They don't want to lose you. They're not going to fire you from your job if you're if you're providing value and you're doing good work. He wants to say here that you don't have to know everything or pretend like you are everything, but you just have to be confident. You can admit. To admit something means to say that you don't know how to do it. So you can admit if you don't know an answer. But if you don't know the answer, at the same time you might want to outline a plan to obtain it. So to outline means to tell the person, these are the things I'm going to do to figure out how to get the answer. So how to obtain the answer. So even if you don't know something, it's okay, but tell your boss or your manager that I'm going to go try to figure out this answer for you and I'm going to get back to you, something like that. So that's going to demonstrate or to show that you have a belief in yourself and your abilities. Your abilities are the things that you can do. So if you believe you can figure out the answer and you're going to make a plan on how to do it and tell your boss, that shows that you believe in yourself. So this word, which is hard to pronounce here, or to know how to pronounce it, seize. So we don't worry about the I, it's just the E sound, seize. Seize the opportunity. It just means take the opportunity, grab the opportunity to showcase your problem-solving skills. To showcase means to just show, to make sure your boss knows that you know how to solve problems, that you're good at solving problems. You have problem-solving skills. All right, and finally, score again. So here we're using like a sports analogy. When you score with your boss, it means you get points with your boss by following up. So you follow up by getting back to your boss. So let's just say on Monday your boss asked you something. You admitted you didn't have the answer right then, but you told him or her that you were going to get it, and then maybe on Tuesday or Wednesday you follow up, which means you talk to your boss again about that particular issue. Okay, so I think what's best, because we had more people join us, we're going to read through the whole thing and then discuss. So hi Sergio, welcome.
Hi Lisa, hi everybody. How are you doing?
So we're just on the second paragraph. Some of them are a little longer than others, but we're just going to, each person's going to have one. There are 9 total. So share your hobbies and interests to help you stand out. Do you scuba dive, sculpt, volunteer at a local farm? These extracurriculars will help others relate to and remember you. Commit to these interests and your business with wholehearted passion, because to fully commit yourself to something is daring. It's something that will never fail to impress others. Okay, Luis.
Okay, Melly Steves Chacola, founder and creator. Mrs. Steves, share your hobbies and interests to help you stand out. Do you scuba dive, sculpt, volunteer at a local farm? These extracurriculars will help others relate to and remember you. Commit to these interests and your business with wholehearted passion, because to fully commit yourself to something is daring. It's something that you'll never fail to impress others.
So Sergio, just to catch you up here, we're just reading quotes. So kind of the question for these business people was, how can you stand out and impress people? What should a person do? And so each one of these people is giving us some kind of little tip or piece of advice. So it's like their own personal advice. All right, so let's see. So this person, Petros Georgopoulos, like a Greek name probably. He's the co-founder and CEO of Swampdom. So Swampdom, swap means to exchange things. So I'm imagining it's some kind of website, but you can click on that if you want to look at the website. It's a business. All right, so share your hobbies. Hobbies are the things that you like to do outside of your job, things like scuba diving or sculpting or painting, you know, working with wood, things like that. Your interests. Interests are kind of like hobbies, but hobbies are more action-oriented, but you also might be interested in things like art, going to museums, going to concerts, things like that. So it's a little bit different. Sharing those with people is what he says helps you stand out. So especially if you have something maybe that's not so common, like scuba diving. Not everybody goes scuba diving. Not everybody likes to sculpt. Sculpt is when you make things with your hands, like a statue or something like that. Or maybe you work as a volunteer. So you volunteer means you work without getting paid. Here in the United States, people do work at farms, for example, just for fun, like on the weekend. They like to be out in nature or something. But of course, there are all kinds of other places you could volunteer. These are called extracurriculars. So they're beyond what you study at school or beyond what you do at work. They're your personal things that you're interested in doing. And they help others to relate to and remember you. They might not remember that you did something, but they'll remember if you told them you were into scuba diving, for example. That's the idea. It kind of makes you stand out so that people can remember you. Also, relate to you means to connect with you. So they have something to talk about. Like, if you share yourself with somebody, then you have something to talk about with somebody instead of, just not having much to say to each other. So this person is saying commit to these interests. So don't just, have them now and then, but really commit to doing them. A commitment to yourself is saying, I'm going to do this. So if you're interested in volunteering, don't do it just once or twice, but maybe more often than that. Also commit to your business with wholehearted passion. Wholehearted just means with all that you have, all your heart. You're not doing it just kind of now and then. You don't really want to do it. So fully committing yourself. If you read a lot of business stuff or self-help stuff, this is the kind of words you'll come across. These are the kind of words you'll come across. Fully commit yourself. So if you do that, he's saying it's daring. When you're daring, you're courageous. So a lot of people don't dare to commit themselves. They don't want to have failure. So this tells somebody that, you know, you're the type of person that can really dive into something and do it with a lot of passion, and he thinks that will impress other people. So if you're like that. All right. I was at the Water Festival in Alabama trying to sign the music publishing rights to a new band called Three Doors Down. But instead of meeting them as planned, I ended up with the lead singer's father. I chipped away at his resistance, which is all that selling is, by asking questions about his life, his talented son, how international hit Kryptonite got created, and whatever else. He told his son I was good people. The deal closed a week later. So this is by a guy, Tom Sturges, who's the president of Tom Sturges Music and an author of a book. And so he's telling us how he got to close the deal that he was after and what he did. All right. Johanni, why don't you read that for us? That one right there.
Yes. I was at the Water Festival in Alabama trying to music publishing rights to a new band called Three Doors Down. But instead of meeting them as planned, I ended up with the lead singer's father. I chipped away this resistance, which is all that selling is, by asking questions about his life, his talented song, how internet hit, Kryptonite got created, and whatever else. He told his song it was good people. The deal closed a week later. Tommy Struder, president. Tommy Struder, music author of. Okay.
That's fine. Every idea is a good idea. Yeah, good. I would say his name's Sturges. Sturges with a soft G. Yeah, it's Tom Sturges. But with names, you never know. So you do the best you can, and then they correct you if you don't say it right. So, okay, let's see. So instead of giving a piece of advice exactly, he tells a story about it. So that's a little bit different than the other two so far. So he says he was at a festival, and he was trying to sign the music publishing rights to a new band. So to get somebody to sign, that usually means to sign the contract that you want to make with them, some kind of business deal. So you're trying to get them to sign the contract, and what the contract was for was the publishing rights for this new band. So he was trying to get his business, Tom Sturges Music, to be the ones who have the rights to this band, the music that this band makes. So they're the ones, of course, that would profit from, you know, this band becoming famous and selling a lot of music. I was going to say albums, but they're not really albums anymore. Digital downloads probably on iTunes. But anyways, so instead of meeting them, so he didn't actually go meet them as was planned, Instead, he ended up, so ended up means the result was like, you know, what happened was that he ended up being with the lead singer's father. So instead of going and talking to the band and doing the regular thing of trying to get them to agree to sign, he met the father. And so what he did there is he chipped away at his resistance. So to chip away is like when you're, usually we think of this as like when you're sculpting, you're chipping away the, when you think of, you know, a sculptor making a sculpture out of wood or some kind of ceramic or something, they chip away the pieces that they don't want to make the shape that they want. But in this case, he was chipping away at the resistance. And he says that's all selling is. So whenever you're trying to sell something, Sergio, you might relate to this. What you're really doing is trying to, tell the customer all the things that they, answer all their questions. So usually when you're trying to sell something, a potential customer has resistance. They don't want to buy. And they have all these things about the product, or this, in this case, the contract or something. And so he was chipping away at his resistance, which just meant he was, talking about his life, his son. He was kind of, being very friendly with this guy. And so it's, for the guy, instead of being resistant, he became more soft, more friendly towards this guy, Tom. And so what happened eventually is the father told his son that he was good people, which basically means he made a good impression on the father, which helped him close the deal. So he got the deal that he wanted a week later. And so he's basically giving us the story of, being friendly to people, talking to them about things that they're interested in, like their own life, their sons, their kids, getting to know somebody in a very real way. So that's kind of a different little story. I find that by first genuinely asking those around me what they are working on and looking for, I can best position the ways I may be able to assist them and increase interest in me. Recently, at an airport waiting area, a simple hello and friendly conversation resulted in a new business opportunity because I asked questions and was then prepared to share a sincere and confident offering. Okay, somewhat of a similar idea. João?
Okay. I find that by first genuinely asking those around me what they are working on and looking for, I can best position the ways I may be able to assist them and increase interest in me. Recently, at an airport waiting area, a simple hello and friendly conversation resulted in a new business opportunity because I asked questions and has them prepared to share a sincere and confident offering.
Mm-hmm. Good. So this is kind of a similar idea, being genuine. So he talks about asking people questions. So genuinely means you really want to do it. You're not just asking just kind of like, oh, I have to be friendly, I have to be polite, so I'm going to ask, but I don't really care what they say. That's one way of relating to people. But if you are genuine or authentic, if you're honest, another word, then you're going to ask, maybe your coworkers or people you're trying to get as clients or something, what they're working on. So what kind of projects do they have going, and what they're looking for. So that might be in the case of like a client, for a possible client. What are they actually looking for? And so that way you can best position. So to position means like try to figure out how you're going to be able to help them. Are you going to do it this way or that way? How you're going to assist or help somebody. And increase interest in me. So if I have an idea for how I can help you, you might become more interested in what I have to offer. And so then he gives a little, we call this a little anecdote or a little story about what happened to him, an example. So he was at an airport and he started a friendly conversation going on, and it resulted in, so the end result of that conversation was a new business opportunity. And he says it's because he asked a bunch of questions of the other person, and then he was prepared to, so he wasn't just being friendly and chit-chatty, but he actually was prepared to share some sincere or truthful or honest information, and he was confident in offering him some kind of like service or something like that, probably. So takeaway would be, being honest, being sincere, being interested in the other person, asking them questions, that kind of idea. 2 key skills I learned in selling myself and my services have paid off immensely. First, make eye contact to show the person with whom you're speaking that he or she is important and being listened to. It also sends the subconscious message that you are on your A game. Secondly, maintain a steady pitch when you speak. Do not end a sentence with a question, which reflects weakness in your presentation and position. Keep your tone firm from beginning to end, and you will come across as both trustworthy and solid, which will convert to dollars. So this is another CEO saying that. All right, Andre.
2 key skills I learned in selling myself and my services have paid off immensely. First, make eye contact to show the person with whom you're speaking that he or she is important and being listened to. It also sends the subconscious message that you are on your A game. Secondly, maintain a steady pitch when you speak. Do not end a sentence with a question, which reflects weakness in your presentation and position. Keep your tone firm from beginning to end, and you will come across as both trustworthy and solid, which will convert to dollars.
Great. Andre, do you know what your A game is? When it says you are on your A game? What do you think that means?
First choice.
First choice?
Yeah.
No? Not exactly. Anybody?
Oh,
All
you
right.
are in a negotiation. You are here. You are there to win.
Yeah, something like that.
To close the deal.
Yeah, your A game is like you're doing your best, you know. So like here in the United States, an A is the top grade that you can get, like on a project or a paper or something like that in a class. And so if you're on your A game, it means you're doing your best. So he says here are the 2 skills that he learned when trying to sell himself. So a lot of entrepreneurs, business people, they have to sell themselves. They have to sell their ideas, their products, their services to other people. And so this is what this magazine is a lot about, is how to help you do that, because sometimes we feel kind of bad, like, oh, I'm going to try to sell you something, but of course you have to be confident. So to pay off here, that means they were successful. These 2 skills have paid off immensely, so they have been really successful for him. They have worked really well for him. Immensely means hugely, greatly, very well. So they paid off, which means they were successful. So first one is to make eye contact. So that means look at the person in the eyes. Now, it's interesting speaking internationally, multiculturally. Some cultures don't like that, but here in the United States, that's being very strong. So you make eye contact. It tells the person that person is important and you want to listen to them. So that's what we think here in the United States. If you make eye contact with somebody, you're trying to tell the person, hey, I'm listening to you. I think what you're going to say is important, so I'm going to be right here with you, making eye contact with you and listening. That's kind of what the body language is. It also sends a subconscious message. So subconscious is you're not saying it out loud, maybe not even really thinking about it, but he believes that somewhere somebody understands that if you're making eye contact with that other person, you're on your A game. So you're listening, you're alert, you're prepared to hear what they have to say. If you don't make eye contact, it kind of shows that you're not that interested. You don't really care what they have to say. Maybe you don't feel good. You're not interested in them. That's kind of the idea. Secondly, you maintain a steady pitch. So sometimes when you're talking, your pitch, how loud you're talking, if you're going up and down, it goes up and down. So sometimes you start off and you fade away a little bit. So you want to maintain a steady, consistent way of speaking. And this happens a lot nowadays, the way in the United States people have a tendency to end their sentences kind of with a question, like, like that. That's a question. You say something and then you say, and that reflects weakness in your presentation and how you're talking, and also what you stand for, what your position is about a certain topic or something like that. So his advice is to keep your tone firm. That means strong, all the way from the beginning to the end. And if you do this, you will come across, so that means you will sound like you are trustworthy. The person can trust what you're saying, and you're solid. Solid rather than kind of wishy-washy or you're not really sure what you're saying. If you're solid, it's like, yes, you can count on me. And of course, that will convert to dollars, which means you will sell your service, you will sell your product if somebody sees you as trustworthy and solid. All right, another one says, as a restaurateur, I'm a sales lead many times each week. I was also a salesman myself for 18 years. One fundamental I learned, there would be no interview without trust. That trust has to be established in the first 2 minutes. How? I coached myself before entering the appointment. Brian, you are here for one reason, the prospect. Think about them. Ask about them. Learn about their needs and how you can fulfill one with your product. Care about what they care about. Do it honestly and sincerely. You can help them succeed. Do it. So that's what he was saying to himself before an appointment. People can sense your sincerity, and that breeds trust. Okay, Sergio.
Okay. As a restaurateur, I'm a sales lead. Say it again, please.
Restaurateur. Yeah, you said it right.
Oh, okay. As a restaurateur, I'm a sales lead many times each week. I was also a salesman myself for 18 years. One fundamental I learned, there would be no interview without trust. That trust has to be established in the first 2 minutes. How? I coached myself before entering the appointment. Brian, you are here for one reason, the prospect. Think about them, ask about them, learn about their needs and how you can fulfill one with your product. Care about what they care about. Do it honestly and sincerely. You can help them succeed. Do it. People can sense your sincerity, and that breeds trust.
Great. Okay, so a couple things here. So a restaurateur is a person who owns a restaurant, who runs the restaurant, manages the restaurant. And so he says, I am a, quote, sales lead many times each week. So a lead is the possible customer. So a person who owns a business, like a restaurant, oftentimes people come into the business to try to sell him things like services or products, you know, whatever he might need for his restaurant. So he's kind of like the person on the other side, because he says he was a salesman himself for 18 years. So he's on the other side now, where he's the potential customer buying something from the salesman. But what he learned from being a salesman, he says the one fundamental is like the basic thing, the most important thing at the base of something. So at the base of being a salesman is to have an interview with trust. So there could be no interview, or there would be no interview without trust. So you had to build trust. If you're trying to sell somebody something, they have to trust you. If they don't trust you, they're just going to kick you out of their place and say, no, thank you, I don't want anything. And you don't make any money that way. So you have to establish trust. So establish means to make it happen right there. You have to do it quickly in the first 2 minutes. And he says the way he did it is that he coached himself. He says, I coached myself. So to coach yourself means to do some self-talk. So before he went into the appointment with the person he wanted to sell something to, he would give himself, we call it a pep talk. So he's going to talk to himself about how to think and what he should be doing. So he's just basically saying, think about that other person, them, the potential customer, the person who might want to buy something from you. You have to learn about their needs. What do they need, and how can you help them get that with your product? Fulfill somebody's need with a product or maybe a service that you have. You have to care about what they care about. So if you care about stuff, it's important to you. But you have to also be honest and sincere. Sincere is another word for honest, where you're really telling the truth. You're not just trying to sell somebody something that they don't really need. And the reason why is because people can sense. They can tell whether or not you're sincere. And if you are, then it breeds trust. It creates trust. So they'll, if they trust you, it's more likely that they will want to buy from you. All right, this other one. Other people assign us value and opportunities based on how they see us. Their perception is our reality. Before you can sell yourself, you must take inventory of what you're working with. What is your unique value? How do you want to be perceived? What makes you credible? Who are you selling to? These questions drive the personal branding process and create the platform off which you can consistently and authentically sell your value to people who might need you. All right, she's an author and also a principal. Okay, Renee, you're back. All right. Renee, you can read this paragraph right there.
Sure. I have some problems with my computer, but right now I am here.
Okay. Great.
Other people assign us value and opportunities based on how they see us. Their perception is our reality. Before you can sell yourself, you must take inventory of what you are working with. What is your unique value? How do you want to be perceived? What makes you credible? Who are you selling to? These questions drive the personal branding process and create the platform of which you can consistently and authentically sell your value to people who might need you.
Good. So other people assign us value. So we might think we're great, but how other people see us, that's what they think. So they tell us in their minds if we're valuable or not. So to assign somebody something means that's what they think of you or what they give to you. So they assign us value and opportunities based on how they see us. So to be based on just means that's what they're looking at. So depending on, it's kind of the same thing as above. If a person really thinks you're honest and sincere, then they will see you that way, and therefore they might give you more opportunities to have their business. They might buy things from your company, that type of thing. So their perception of you, that's the reality there. You have to work with that. So before you can sell yourself to somebody, sell yourself, your services, your company, that kind of stuff, you have to take inventory. So to take inventory, inventory usually means like in a business you have stuff, like products. And you say, okay, I have 5 couches, I have 10 tables, I have 3 chairs. Like if you're a furniture business, that's your inventory. But when you're thinking about yourself, you have to look at what are you working with? What do you bring to the table, we say? What are your values? So you take an inventory of your own skills and what's unique about yourself. What's special or unique about yourself? And you ask yourself the question, how do you want to be perceived? How do you want other people to see you? Do you want people to think you're smart, you're hardworking, you have great skills at whatever you're trying to do, that kind of thing? What makes you credible? Credible means, how can I trust you? Why should I trust you? If you are credible, people believe you, and because maybe you have a lot of customer testimonials, your product is really good, you don't have many complaints, that kind of thing, then people can trust you and know that you are credible. You're not just some guy trying to steal their money or something like that. So he said she says these are the questions that drive the personal branding process. So these days we talk a lot about branding for companies, but also your personal brand. The idea of who you are and what do you stand for, what kind of person are you, that's kind of your brand. That's business talk. Normal people don't talk that way, but it's for businesses and stuff. And so depending on your personal brand, that's the platform. Your platform is what you stand for. And that's what you're going to sell can, you know, if you can do that consistently and authentically, you're going to sell that to people who might need you. So everybody creates kind of like their personal brand, and they use that to sell their product, their company. You know, think of people like fashion designers, Ralph Lauren, people like that. They have a personal brand, and their company kind of represents what they stand for. All right, we have two more. Let's see. The best way to sell yourself is to not sell at all. Deliver solid results to your board and investors, and be humbled when you don't, and take the blame courageously. Deliver great learning and advancement opportunities to your employees. Be loving and caring to those who work with you and for you. And when it is time to walk through walls, they will stand up and want to run through them. Sell by example, and you will win every time. Okay, Luis?
Okay, the best way to sell yourself is not to sell at all. Deliver solid results to your board and investors, and be humbled when you don't, and take the blame courageously. Deliver great learning and advancement opportunities to your employees. Be loving and caring to those who work with you and for you. And when it's time to walk through walls, they will stand up and want to run through them. Sell by example, and you will win every time. Kevin Service.
Okay, good. So this person takes it a little bit differently and says not to sell yourself. Don't try to sell yourself. Instead, be the person you want everybody to see. So it's kind of similar, but the idea is don't even think about selling yourself. Deliver solid results. So, you know, give people what you want. So if you're a CEO or something, maybe you have a board of directors, or you have some investors in your company, like shareholders or private investors. Deliver. Give them what they want. In business, you want, you know, you want growth, you want sales, you want good organization, all those types of things. You want customers to be happy. So work on those things that really matter. Those are called solid results. But you know, if you can't do that, if you make a mistake or something, be humble. Be humbled when you don't. So when you don't, you do well. When you don't deliver the good results, and take the blame courageously. So be courageous. Don't be a coward. Don't blame it on somebody else that you didn't do something that maybe you wanted to do or you're supposed to do. Again, deliver. So give your company, your employees opportunities to learn, to advance in their careers, to, you know, get better in their careers. Go, you know, we call that climbing the ladder of maybe a corporation or a business or something. So be good to your employees, basically. Be loving and caring. Care about the people you work with and those who work for you. And he says if you do, when it is time to walk through walls, that is kind of a metaphor for when something's challenging. When your company comes across some challenging times, some tough times, they're going to stand up and want to run through them. So it just means they're going to be there for you. They're going to work with you because you worked with them. So sell by example. Be the person you want everybody to see, and then you will win. If you're an honest, you know, hardworking, you deliver the results. All right. The last one here says, everyone has a personal brand. Be purposeful in how you sell it. I am passionate about creating and developing businesses, and my success comes from being focused, persistent, and authentic. I build trust for a living, so I sell myself best by doing what I love and following my principles. I am not driven by validation, but when I was on Shark Tank, it didn't hurt to hear Kevin O'Leary say, you know what you're talking about. All right, so this is a Stephen Nacksher, PhD. He's the founder of Talbot Teas, and which was acquired by Jamba Juice. So Talbot Teas is like a tea shop or something. Okay, whose turn is it? Johan?
Okay. Everyone has a personal brand. Be purposeful in how you sell it. I'm passionate about creating and developing businesses, and my success comes from being focused, persistent, and authentic. I build truth for a living, so I sell myself best by doing what I love and following my principles. I am not driven by validation, but when I was on Shark Tank, I didn't hurt to hear Kevin Allard say, "You know what you're talking about."
Mm-hmm. Good. Okay. All right. So everyone has a personal brand. So a brand is like, I want to make sure you guys know what a brand is. I assumed you did earlier, but a brand is like your company has a logo, and that's part of the brand, but everything related to your company is your brand. So, there are some international brands in companies that are, just by their logo, like Apple Computer, maybe Microsoft, maybe Nike, for example, Xbox, things like that. You just see their logo and you know what their products are, and you also know things about their company. So the brand, what kind of company is that? Is it a good company that has good products, or are they, do they usually have some products that are kind of bad? They have bad customer service. So that's what a brand is. It's what your company is kind of known for. It includes your logo and your look and all that kind of stuff, but it really is about what people think about you and your company. So in this case, you have a personal brand. So what kind of person are you? What do you stand for? And so you create that by the things that you do, how you dress, how you talk, what you do in your job, what type of person you are, that kind of thing. So he's saying be purposeful in how you sell it. So don't just be loose and not caring or thinking about this. Be purposeful. Have a purpose. The reason why. Why am I doing this? What do I want people to know about me? So he says, I am passionate. It means I'm really passionate. I have a lot of passion. I have a lot of energy, excitement, enthusiasm. And what he has passion for is creating and developing businesses. And his success comes from, so the reason why he has success, he believes, is because he's focused. He works clearly on something rather than trying to do a million things at once. He's persistent, which means you keep working at it. Even if you're failing, even if it's not working out, you just keep working at it. You're persistent. You don't give up. And authentic. These are very common words you'll see in every kind of business book or something. Authentic. You're real. You're not fake. You're really representing what you are about. So he builds trust for a living. You build trust by connecting with people so that they trust you. That's how you sell products, by getting people to trust that you have a good product, you have a good service, and you're going to treat them well. He loves to do this, he says, and he follows his principles, his values, the things that he stands for. He says, I am not driven by validation. So other people validating him, saying, oh, you're so great, Stephen, I love this, blah, blah, blah. That's not what drives him, he says. That's not why he gets up every morning and works hard and that kind of stuff. Instead, it's his own principles and his own passion. But he says he did like it when somebody gave him a little bit of praise. When somebody says, you know what you're talking about. That's a kind of a praise. Okay, so does anybody, but we have a few minutes left in the class, so I want to give you a chance. Does anybody have any questions related to the language, the English? There's lots of different words you might not know. Does anybody want to ask me a question about some words or expressions?
No, I want to make a question about the Shark Tank. It's a reality show, no, in USA?
Yeah, I'm bad to ask about TV shows because I don't watch many TV shows. But yes, this was a show. Yes, did you see it? Have you heard about it?
No, I saw one of British show.
Oh, okay.
Reality show, that's the American version.
I see.
I understand that they say, no, your project is not good, no? To jump
okay. So, so that's why he liked it.
Yeah.
It was a praise. You know what you're talking about. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's all.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Thanks for that. So what I want to hear from you guys is, what do you think about this advice? Is there something that you've read, that you've listened to, that rings a bell for you, which means what you agree with, you think the same way, or something that you would not agree with? So, Sergio, I'm going to go with you. I know you have business experience. What do you think about this advice? Anything in particular that stands out for you, that's important for you?
Yeah, actually, I think this is something I've been driving my way, and I heard a lot of this, and
Yeah.
important, yeah, really important. Like sometimes I heard one time my boss told me something like, "You work not just for this company. You work for the market, and you have to build trust. That's because if tomorrow I'm out of BlackBerry, can another company probably ask me, invite me to work then? And yes, that's because I wanna hire this guy because the purpose I'm hire him. Of course, he worked for my company. He's improved my my sales or something. But probably he's bring a lot of customers, with him. And this just happening when you has trust. Yes, I think this confidence and trust is the keys words in business.
Keywords for you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a good idea. Like, yeah, what would be some keywords that you guys pick up on in this article? Andre, what about you? Do you read much about business and stuff, or just in thinking of your own life, what stands out for you in this article that might be important?
No, I don't read some business literature. Actually, I'm interested in law and history, and that's what I read. Yes.
Yeah.
But maybe in future I will do some things in business. Maybe. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, you never know. But what about just the idea of standing out and kind of like impressing people, even if you're not trying to sell something to them? Do you ever think about how other people might see you, and you want to make sure we say make a good impression on them, like in school or as an employee? Do you understand what I mean?
Yes. I just think that people should be polite and smart in the conversation, and it will be okay.
Yeah. Okay, Johanny, what about you? Johanny, what do you do for work?
Can you repeat, please? I have problem with my.
What do you do for work?
I am engineer, chemical engineer.
Oh, okay. So do you ever think about this type of thing, about showing your confidence or your skills when you're talking to other people?
No. No, but it is interesting because the person always has to sell yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do this, but it's good.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good point that you bring up, because go ahead.
In my company, well, in the company where I work, there are a lot of people that know how to sell them, but I don't know. I only do my work, and it's the only that I can do, or it's the only I know how to do.
Yeah. That's a good point. You know, a lot of people don't think about selling themselves too much, but what you're saying is actually true. Even if you're a professional scientist or a professor or anything, you're always kind of selling yourself. And some people who are really good at it, that you can see that they get what they want. A lot of times, they get the jobs they want. They get the positions they want, that type of stuff. So it's something to consider. Luis, you're a doctor. I'm imagining that building trust is probably important for you as well.
Yes, to transmit the confidence, not only for the patients, but for the service that you work, for the staff team, for my boss, for the director of the hospital.
Sure.
It's very important for the doctor.
Yeah.
It's very important. Doctors don't know everything. We have discussions. We have getting to discuss a patient case, but we always have to be polite and transmit the confidence, and the patients have to know that you are going to do everything as possible for save his life, for care about him.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like maybe we could say some takeaways. The takeaway is when you read a book or an article or listen to something, it's a couple of points that you take away from that and that you want to focus on. So I think you guys said all the good ones, like being confident, building trust, really being authentic and real. It's good to do that no matter what your job is or if you're still just a student. But maybe even in your own personal relationships as well, you want to be, trustworthy. Okay, guys. Well, we used up all our time, and I want to let you go in case you want to go to another class, which is probably starting right now. So have a good weekend, everybody.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Thank you for the class.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you,
Bye, guys. Bye, Renee.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, Johnny. See ya. To success, and especially entrepreneurs, business success, employees, technology, things like this. So every now and then I come to this website to see what they have that might be of interest to students. And so today I found this one. It's called on Top of Mind on Selling Yourself. And it's leaders' tips on how to best stand out and impress whoever's across the table. So what it is actually is they just compiled or they gathered some quotes from some different leaders, different people, business owners and entrepreneurs and things. And we're going to read each paragraph, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit to see, do you agree with this? Have you ever had this kind of experience? That kind of thing. So we're going to take turns reading. I will explain the vocabulary as well if we have some words there that people don't know, and then we'll talk about it. So let's just start. I read out loud first, one paragraph at a time, and the reason why I'm reading out loud is just so that you guys can hear.
Yes.
Sunday, yeah.
Yeah.
I understand in Brazil you have to vote. Everybody has to vote.
Yes. Yes. It's in the law.
When you're going to vote, do you go to a place to vote, or how does everybody vote?
I go to a school.
A school, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see what happens on Sunday. And Andre, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Andre, where are you? Where are you calling from?
In Russia?
That's what I thought. Isn't it pretty late in Russia?
Yes. But it's okay.
It's okay. Tomorrow's Saturday. Okay. Yes. Great. Well, welcome to class, everybody. So what I have planned for us in this hour is we're going to be looking at this article that I put up. It's not really an article. It's kind of it's from this magazine here called Success, and the website is success.com. And so it has a lot of different types of articles related in May. and I had a very nice time. It was great.
Oh, Madrid.
Uh-huh. I do know. It sounds like there's
Yes.
a little bit of a delay for the connection here.
It's very bad, I'm afraid.
Madrid doing very bad?
No, my internet connection.
Oh, yes. Yeah, there's a little
It's
bit of
very-
a delay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not a speed. No.
I see. Okay. Okay. Let me say hi to some other students who just showed up. Hi, Luis. Hi, Luis. How are you?
Hi, Lisa. I'm fine. I'm fine, and you?
I'm good. Did you have a good week?
Yes. Thank God, yes.
Ready for the weekend. Yes.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Awesome. And welcome, João. How are you?
Hi, Lisa. I'm fine, and you?
I'm doing well. Did you have a nice week?
Yes, I have a nice week, and I will have a nice weekend now.
Okay. Great. Are you going to be voting in the elections? Hi, everybody. My name is Lisa, and I'm one of the teachers here at Verbling.com, and I want to welcome you to this hour's class. We're going to be having a reading and discussion class, and I put the link to the stuff that we're going to read. It's not quite an article. It's a bunch of different quotes, actually, from various business leaders on how to stand out in the crowd, how to get people to notice you and your skills. So if you have a reservation for this class, then of course you can go ahead and use the reservation now. You can use your reservation in the first 2 minutes of the class. And if you don't use your reservation, that's okay. Just goes away, and then the join class button becomes available to everybody. So anybody who is a Verbling.com member can join a class. You can either be a member, you can buy 10 classes at a time, or you can try the free trial membership. So there's a couple different ways that you can get started here on Verbling. Of course, you can watch all of the classes for free, but if you do want to participate and actually practice reading, practice speaking using your English, then joining the classes is the best way to do that, of course. So I'm going to be explaining a little bit more as I wait for people to join. Sometimes if there's a class going on ahead and some people are there, it takes a couple minutes for them to switch in. And so usually in about the first 3, 4, 5 minutes of a class period, we just talk and say hi to people who are coming in, welcome everybody, and give people a chance to join the class before we start actually doing the lesson. So hi, Domingo. How are you?
Hi, late night in Spain.
Sorry, say it again. Are you in Spain?
Yeah, I am in Spain.
Wow, it's late.
Yes, it's 1 o'clock.
Yes, wow, you're up late. Okay. Domingo, what part of Spain do you live in?
In Madrid.
Oh, Madrid. Okay, wonderful.
Madrid.
Nice. I was in Madrid in